You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's showtime. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
Dolphin fans, Miami Dolphin fans, Go Time Dolphin fans. Let me talk to you. Week 6. Carolina Panthers, Miami Dolphins win 42-21 to go 5-1 of the season. It wasn't pretty at times, but we got the job done. And that's all that matters. So, to help me dive into all of this, obviously going to welcome the man with the victory vibes himself, Mr. Charlie Touche. How are you?
I mean, I got a victory visor on, so I know you probably can't hear me all the way. I'm just saying, gotta love it. 5-1, first time in I think they said
21 years, 2002.
First time in 21 years, and it's crazy that 2002 was only 21 years ago because I feel like 2002 is right around the corner. You know what I'm saying? But it's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond but across the world. I'm your boy Charlie Touche. Got my co-host Kadeem Simmons with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast. Miami Dolphins improved to 5-1, man. Defeat the Carolina Panthers 42-21. A lot of people's parlays was in jeopardy for a second. A lot of parlays were in jeopardy for a second when that pick six happened. But we got up out of that, and we're gonna dive into the game, Kadeem, man. Where did you watch the game, and what did you make of it?
So I watched it at the Hippodrome. None of the WhatsApp Dolphin guys turned up this week, is what it is. You know, people are busy, living life, all the great stuff. Obviously, you have to go to the comments. 100%. We are live on YouTube. If you're watching post live, I guess, you know, on YouTube after or on Spotify, wherever you get the Dolphins podcast from. Love to have you in the live commenting. So shout out to Lee Connolly. He says, evening all. Shout out to Rob. He says, sup all. Shout out to Kenna Rankin. Says, Tyreek is the most valuable player on this offense. And then, like, I guess the salute emoji, everyone. Rob says, well. How scared you at 0-14 down? IMAX said, good evening, everyone. Kadeem, Charlie, and chat. Lee then says, I'm here to say sorry for my previous slander of Austin Jackson. Obviously, that's friend of the podcast, Austin Jackson. And then, yeah, so IMAX says, after watching the Miami Hurricanes lose, a little concerned. I wasn't that concerned. It's funny, I spoke to Drakey before the game, and I was like, something about this game. It's a Panthers team that, yes, they're 0-5, but they're not a bad team, if that makes sense. They're kind of like slowly finding themselves. Rookie quarterback, you know, kind of like the ups and downs you're going to get in that. And I was just like, I can imagine this Dolphins, Charlie froze. I'm 7 minutes in and I've lost Charlie already. You can't make it up. You cannot make it up. So, also a great spot to pause for Charlie. As we wait for Charlie to come back and I talk about my feelings of the game. Obviously, get my name up there. I feel probably worth saying to, if you haven't already, comment on the video, like the YouTube channel, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow us on Instagram, X, TikTok. If you head over to our TikTok and our YouTube short page, you will see Tyreek Hill. Shout out to Tyreek Hill. Shout out to 5 Yard League for getting us that amazing footage. That makes sense now. But yeah, shout out to Lee for that. You can see photos and videos from the game. Always really appreciate that. You know, we obviously make sure we get our content, and it's gonna bug me now, isn't it? Any content on any of our channels, make sure it is ours and only ours, no one else's. Um, what comment do we have at the moment? Rob says, "What I will say." I know we'll make sure we do comment once we get Charlie back. But yeah, and also if you haven't already, follow us on Patreon, patreon.com/go time. I've locked my Mac account as I work out what my password is. That's really frustrating. I need to get back into that. And we do have Charlie Touche. He says, yeah, part of the reason part of the reason we meant to go earlier than expected today, but some laptop issues. Shout out to Rob, Kadeem. No, what? I need to work out. So Rob SAFC. Do you prefer calling him? Before I say, do you prefer your name is Rob? So we have Rob and Robert, unless Robert actually prefers being called Rob, which way we'll sort it out. And look, we have two of us back again. What's up?
Kadeem,
Yo,
bro, we went through like 2 hours prior to the show. Like, yo, I'm updating my Mac, I'm restarting it, doing all this stuff, and here we are again, and it just did it. So I don't know. I heard the apology for Austin Jackson though from Lee Colony, friend of the podcast. Austin Jackson said it. Well, Lee Colony said, "I'm here to say sorry for my previous slander of Austin Jackson." And I remember like, yo, saying, what happens if Austin Jackson comes back nice? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, and shout out to Lon Ray. Lon Ray is healthy. For everyone who we mentioned Lon Ray wasn't feeling so well. Back in the building, and we're dropping the dopest Austin Jackson story tomorrow on social media via the social media team Go Time Dolphins, and Lon Ray made it. So yeah, man. Nah, man, bro. So you say you was at the Hippodrome,
yeah.
and let's get into the concerns, bro. Carolina jumps out 14 zip, and I'm like, come on, dog. Like, can we have anything nice? You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. So like, it's funny because like the Panthers start with the ball and they go 3-and-out, and we see a sack from Valley Chubb, and I was like, here we go. This is it. This is going to be nice. Dover's going to get the ball, go up 7, and then cool. And it's funny because at the Hippodrome, they had some issues with like they had every game playing apart from the Dolphins. So I'm on social media trying to find out what's going on. I'm like, hey, Dolphins got the ball, boom, let's go. And I see Dolphins go 3-and-out, and I'm just like, okay, so 2 seconds.
Yeah, 3-and-out isn't normal for the Dolphins. So it was a little 3-and-out against Carolina. Like, that's odd.
Yeah, and then like the Hippodrome gets a feedback, and I'm seeing the Panthers just drive down the field at end of 7. I was like, okay, know what? Not an issue. We'll get the ball. We're going to score, get a stop, go up 14, all that kind of stuff. Dolphins don't think they get a first down. It's like, okay, cool. One of those days. And I was saying before you left, so I messaged Drakey before the game, and I was like, this Panthers D line has the ability to cause the Dolphins some issues. And I wasn't worried that we'll lose, but I was worried it will be a closer game than I actually expected. And when it was 14 zip, I messaged Drakey, and I was kind of like, this is going to happen, isn't it? And then obviously the Dolphins, or the second quarter starts, and the Dolphins just said, yeah, this isn't going to be like the same old Dolphins. Shout out to the same old Dolphins show. We're the new Dolphins now. We are going to assert our dominance both on the ground, in the air. Defense is going to stop the Panthers from scoring a point the rest of the game. And I wasn't concerned we would lose. I was just concerned it was going to be a shootout, which the game should never have been from the start.
Nah, that's good, because I didn't ever think we would lose, But when someone puts up 14 on you, no matter what the team is, as a fan of the game, automatically I just start thinking any given Sunday. Any given Sunday, it happens. Not it happens to the best of them. You know what I'm saying? A team. That's why no one has ever gone undefeated. You know what I'm saying? Someone always get knocks off, and it's like, yo, this is foolish, bro. That you're struggling against a team you're not supposed to. And here we are talking about putting teams away every week. We talk about, yo, you got to put people away. You got to put people away. You got to put your foot on their neck. If they're not supposed to be in the game, get them out the paint. But here we are. You see what happened to the Eagles. You see what happened. And we don't have our segment yet to go around the NFL yet. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to have a little, I don't know, maybe a couple minutes on the episode where towards the end of the episode where we talk about the entire NFL and you know, just brush over all of it and talk about it. So whoever comes up with a name for that segment for us, we're going to give you a free giveaway. You don't even have to compete against nobody else. You win the giveaway. The best name of the segment wins. So Eagles lose to the Paper Planes somehow because they didn't put them away. Kept them in the game, let them hang around, and that's what happens. The 49ers lose to the Browns with a third-string quarterback. Missed the field goal at the end of the game. I'm sure some parlays went down. Out of there. You know what I'm saying? You left them in the game, didn't put them away, and that's what happens. So, yeah, it's I wouldn't say I was concerned. Oh, Buffalo should have lost to a backup quarterback. Well, one can argue they got two backup quarterbacks, but this is not time for that. So, you know, yeah, man, I don't like letting teams hang around. That's not supposed to hang around. And here we are. We're playing. We're down 14 zip. And I ain't gonna lie, Kadeem. We have made it to the part of where your team is so good that you get bored and you get tired. And Tua has now decided to not take the easy throws anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like before, it was like, yo, just win the game. Let's execute. Let's do this. Let's do that. Bro, we're so good now on offense that we're not being disciplined during the game. You know, you had a touchdown to Waddle, the Waddle touchdown. Tyreek Hill was wide open, bro.
I'm so glad you said that.
So glad you said that. Tyreek Hill was so wide open, it was a no-brainer. But Tua has elected, you know what? My dog Waddle been out the game. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get him up to speed. He tardy for the party. Let me get him his touches, right? And I believe that's why Coach McDaniel took the ball out of Tua's hands last week against who we played last week? The Giants. We played the Giants and Tua threw the pick six, right? And you could see him forcing passes, and it was like, and I believe Coach McDaniel said, nah, I'm not doing this. I'm running the ball now because Tua wants to get cute and threw the pick six, and now Tua's on the goal line, make like, yo, I kind of want this person to get this and that person to get that, and Tyreek Hill sitting here like, yo, I'm right here. You know what I'm saying? So I don't love the fact that Tua's not electing to take the easy throws. Like you just got to take whatever they give you. You know what I'm saying? And granted, he scored a touchdown, but at the same time, last week, that was a pick six. You know what I'm saying? So I don't love that. I'd rather play disciplined football. I'd rather go, you know, fundamentals and just know that you can rely on your team being the better team, your offense being the better offense, your quarterback being the better quarterback, as opposed to getting too cute.
Yeah. Shout out to Liz. Welcome to the chat as always.
What up?
We'll
Liz?
do some friend of the podcast, Ocean Jackson stuff later. He's probably worth like his own little bit to talk about. We have a few suggestions. Lee Connolly says around the NFL with GTD. Robert Ashton says not just across the pond or across the world, across the NFL. I like both of those. I don't know if we'll make a decision this episode, but I will definitely note those two down. A few questions. Liz asked, which would be faster, riding the train from London to Germany or driving? Definitely the train, because if you're gonna drive from London to Germany, you'd have to drive to Dover, get on a ferry to France, and then drive through France to get to Germany, and I just wouldn't.
I'm sorry. Can you entertain the American for a second? You can drive to Germany from London.
Yeah,
How
you'd
does
have
that
to
work?
like. So okay, so you'd have to go to a place called Dover, and from Dover you can take a ferry from essentially London, or sorry, from Dover to France, and then
Meaning you drive your car and you take the car onto the ferry like it's a ferry that takes cars.
yes.
Oh, okay.
So if I was to go see Drakey and I were driving, I can do the same thing. So to get to the Isle of Wight, I need to go on a ferry. But yeah, you can get specific ferries that allow cars, and then yeah. So to get to Germany, you'd have to take your car from Dover to, I think it's Calais in France, and then yeah, drive through France to get to Germany. So yeah, definitely like that's a multi-day trip, multi-day. So yeah, it's definitely the train. Yeah, Robert says ferry Holland and drive through Holland to Germany. Oh yeah, all that as well. Kenna
Shout
asked,
out to all our international fans, man. We rock with all of y'all. No, this is pretty unique, bro. Like I like it.
Rob suggests league roundup, and if you weren't going to drive, you would start to France and train the rest of the way. So yeah, get trains from France all the way through thing. Kenna asks, so important question now, who is Tua without Tyreek? There was a graphic, if not last week, the week before, which basically, like, I don't know if you've seen them, like, I guess, is it a cross graphic, whatever it's called? And they have like all the different dots, all that kind of stuff. If you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about,
I'm not sure what type of graph that is. It's some type of graph, some type of chart.
yeah,
It's probably some
yeah.
type of chart.
So that chart basically has Tua without Tyreek Hill in the top right hand corner, and then Tua with Tyreek Hill like kind of around not league average but thing, and it basically shows that Tua is even better in throwing to basically everyone else apart from Tyreek Hill. So I still think Tua is amazing without Tyreek Hill, but the connection those two have at the moment is just mental. Like I believe, obviously you saw the touchdown last week, which Tua basically telling the huddle, like, listen,
Called
this is
his
what we're
own play.
doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe for the touchdown to put us ahead, I think Mike McDaniel said that he allowed Tua to check out of what he called and he checked into that pass to Tyreek Hill. And yeah. Question for you about Tyreek Hill though, before we talk about other stuff.
Bro. Can I respond to Kenneth Rankin, bro?
Shoot, go ahead.
So I feel like anybody would be a lesser than quarterback without Tyreek Hill. You know what I'm saying? I would like to think your performance comes down a little bit. And once upon a time, everyone in the Dolphins community just wanted targets for Tua or weapons for Tua. Like, yo, can we get this man some decent receivers? We happen to go get him the best receiver. Cool. I'm sure I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, if Tyreek Hill wasn't on this team, which I don't want to see this team without Tyreek Hill, we would still be all right. We're really deep at receiver. Tua is not an MVP candidate solely because of Tyreek Hill. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was something that we already spoke about at length for years. Like, yo, Tua's legit. If you happen to go get him the best receiver, now this is what you get. This is the result. Kenneth Rankin. So I'll let you ask me the Tyreek Hill question because I'll circle back to the other thing Kenneth Rankin said. But what was the Tyreek Hill question you had for me?
Quickly, so Robert Ashton says 4-quadrant graph, and that kind of sounds about right because you got 4 quadrants. So yeah, but it's basically what Rob says. So Rob says, speaking of Tyreek, my heart sank a bit when he felt his hamstring, and when it happened, shout out to 5 Yard Lee. He said in multiple chats, "Oh no," and I was like, so I say to Lee all the time, "You are the bearer of bad news." If something bad happens with the Dolphins, Lee will say first of all, it's like Lee, like So I say to Lee, stop messaging because you only message bad news. And I was like, jokingly at first, I was like, he's probably just going to tuck up on fluids, get some electrolytes, and he'll be okay. And it turns out he was just cramping. Do you think the Dolphins have to work out this Tyreek Hill cramp issue? Because it happens quite a lot. And I think he said himself, he doesn't, yeah. Do you think the Dolphins need to work out this Tyreek Hill issue?
So when Tyreek Hill was in Kansas City, I seen this still. Like he was in Kansas City and he did a backflip in the end zone, and he cramped up after he did the backflip, and he was like, I'm out of there, because he did the backflip after his touchdown, and I seen him cramping, and I may have seen him cramp one more time in Kansas City. So when he came to the Dolphins last year, was his first year with the Dolphins, and he cramped up against, I want to say, Baltimore, and then the game was like, we were down like 21 points and everyone was like, yo, it's over. And he could have just stayed out if he wanted to, but he didn't. He came back in, we won the game, and he was still cramping. And now it is more prevalent. You can see him every game going through it. And from what I understand, he takes an IV every game. So it's a personal thing. He has to address it. And I don't know that he can, because I would imagine he would have. This is not new to Miami. It's followed him his entire career. And if you look at Tyreek Hill, bro, the man is just like one big muscle. You know what I'm saying? Like all jokes aside, you know what I'm saying? The dude is like a short, compact muscle. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand why it happens. No, I'm not concerned because of it. So even when he came up lame, I just knew it was a cramp. I'm like, that's a cramp. He's cramping again. You know what I'm saying? So no, I never thought it was a hamstring. I see him pull up all the time. Almost every game it looks like it's an issue. So good thing for us. Super Bowl's at night. We'll be all right, I'm assuming.
Robert says it was mentioned in the game that he carries the load with a lot of pre-snap movement, so maybe that workload needs sharing more. I think, but like Charlie was saying, it's been happening for years. It happened last year before we really, ramped up the pre-snap motion. I think so. I heard his thing is that he doesn't take on many fluids, and that is the thing. It's like, dude, just drink some more Gatorade, drink some more water. Like, the thing is, cramping is a fixable problem. That makes sense. Like, people know why you cramp. Unless there's Charlie's cramp on Friday, at which point, like, that was just mental.
Bro, I dog. So if that's the case, I need to know, because it's the same leg and the same hamstring that does it. But LeBron James cramps up too, and he's a big. He has muscle mass through the roof as well. You know what I'm saying? So I just like to think if these dudes are world-class athletes, that they'll fix it if it was fixable. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't understand why you would. I just don't want to take more fluids and stop this problem. You get paid $31 million a year. You don't think you should drink more fluids so this doesn't happen during the game that people need you in? So I don't know that. I don't know, bro.
So I'm looking on the internet now, because why not? And according to Dr. Ondo, no idea who Dr. Ondo is, but the ways to stop muscle cramps, he says, dynamic stretches, performing static stretches after exercising before bed, drinking plenty of water, knowing whether you might be low in electrolytes and when you should choose a poor drink over water. And yeah, it does sound like, dude, just stretch and
I don't know, bro. I'm not no doctor, but I did hear pickle juice too. Like, pickle juice helps. You ever heard that?
I've never heard of that, though.
Hey, if in the comments, let me know if you ever heard you're supposed to drink pickle juice to prevent cramping. So yeah, I heard that, man. I don't know, bro.
It's insane.
So let me circle back. Let me circle back to what Kenny Rankin was saying now about Tyreek Hill as an MVP. I'll ask you first, and I'll close it out. Do you think Tyreek Hill is more deserving than MVP than Tua? Of MVP. Hold on, you know what? Let me set that back up. Do you think Tyreek Hill is more deserving of MVP than Tua?
If Tyreek Hill breaks that 2,000-yard record, then yes. But as we discussed previously, he just won't win it because because MVP is a quarterback record, or a quarterback award, I should say. So he might be more deserving, or like more, yeah, I don't know if deserving the right word, but he might be more deserving than Tua. I just don't think he'll win it, like, because he's not a quarterback.
So here's the thing, and I'll reiterate what I said last time about Tyreek Hill winning MVP. There's a chance Tyreek Hill can win MVP because the national media doesn't respect Tua like that. So they just don't believe in Tua for whatever reason. They either don't believe in him, they hate him, or they don't want to see him succeed, which is a form of hatred. You know what I'm saying? Of being a hater. You know what I'm saying? So I can see where Tyreek Hill breaks the 2,000-yard record, and they say, all right, Tyreek Hill is the reason Tua is successful. Tyreek Hill should get the MVP. Here's where I disagree. If Tua got hurt, we all know what the team looks like without him. That is what an MVP is. Like, he's the most valuable player. So if Tyreek Hill is missing for a few games, I should say that instead. If Tyreek Hill is missing for a few games, what does the team look like? I still think we find success without Tyreek Hill. I think the team looks pretty good. I also believe Mike McDaniel and Tua is the reason we really, really have a lot of success. Now, hey, appreciate you, Liz. So is the reason we have a lot of success Mike McDaniel and Tua. Tyreek Hill is the cherry on top. No doubt about it. However, if Tua misses a few games for whatever reason, what does the team look like? I don't think the team is as good without Tua as we are without Tyreek Hill and with Tua. All that being said, to land the plane, if Tua has 4,000 yards passing, or even 4,000 yards passing, and he spreads the ball out, spreads the touchdowns out, spreads Waddle has 1,500 yards receiving, and Tyreek Hill has 2,000 yards. It's not just Tyreek Hill, it's Tua distributing as well. So it just depends on what it looks like. If Tyreek Hill goes over 2,000 yards, Jalen Waddle goes under 1,000 yards, and it's spread out and divvied up amongst the receivers and the backs, okay, Tyreek Hill might get that. Tua ends up with 3,300 yards. He leads the league with 1,100 right now. So that's 6 games. Do the math. 3,300 yards. You know what I'm saying? I just threw that number out there. So Tua ends up with 3,300 yards. Okay, you can make a case for Tyreek Hill winning MVP if Tua ends up with 3,300 yards and Tyreek Hill ends up with 2,000. But Tua ends up 33,000. My bad, fellas. My bad. 33,000. 33,000 passing yards. 33,000 passing yards is what I meant to say. My bad. I said 3,300. So if Tua ends up with 33,000 passing yards, my fault. Then it's a different story. He ends up with 33,000 passing yards, and Tyreek Hill ends up with 2,000. Yeah.
Enough said.
Hold on, bro. It is 3,300. I said 33,000. It is 3,300. Kadeem, what you mean?
What was the math?
I had to think about that for a second. Like, it is 3,300 passing yards.
But what's the
33,000 is a whole career.
Yeah. What's your one now?
He said Robert Aston said, "Oh no, Charlie, leave the math alone."
I'm saying, yeah. That's what I'm saying, yeah.
The math not mathing.
Isn't 201 something like? Isn't 201
1,100 right now?
He's not on 1,100. The Dolphins lead the league in passing yards at like 16 or 1,600.
What's the math, boy? Here go the math.
Yeah,
go. Let's see what I think he had 1,100 last week. No.
Tua Tagovailoa. And the thing is, it's one of those things where Tua's at 8,1876. Like the Dolphins lead
1,876. Cool. So this is only helping my case because the Tua goes
over. No. It's listen. It's not helping your case because you got the math wrong. Like again, you know what? Like, listen, it's bad. Charlie, you're bad from math. Stay away from math.
Hold on.
Stay away from math.
But look, this is what I'm saying. If Tua ended up with 3,000 yards passing, you could make the case for Tyreek Hill being MVP if he has 2,000 of those 3,000 yards. If Tua, because he's on pace. I'm tripping. He's on pace for like 56, which is the record. He's on pace for 5,600.
Charlie said he was gonna throw an entire career with a passing yards in like 8 weeks. I was sitting there going, this doesn't make sense. But I'm gonna let him land. I'm gonna let Charlie land before I dive in.
Nah, bro, you interrupted and gave me like a look. I like, oh, maybe I'm tripping, and that's why I said 33,000. I said 3,300 the whole time. I was saying 3,300, and I said, wait, 33,000 because Kadeem threw me off with the look. But no, this is what I'm saying. If Tua throws over 4,000 yards, I don't think Tyreek Hill gets MVP. I think Tua gets it. But if Tua goes under 4,000 yards, sure. Let's give it to Tyreek.
We'll see. Shout out to Jason Keck. Welcome to the chat. Robert Ashton said he said the pickle juice contains salt and electrolytes. IMAX said he said the pickle juice remedy as well. Shout out to Chris Barella. What's good, fellas? What's up, chat? 5-1 is a great place to start, but mission isn't accomplished 100%. Lee says if Hill gets 2K yards, he'll be MVP. Robert adds, major hate to admit they are wrong. Jason says, who played a full game and had 1 assist? Is that football, as in like soccer talk, or is that NFL talk? Not quite sure. But Lee agrees 100% with Charlie. Kenneth says, why are you saying that like we don't have wide receivers that can step up, but we don't have a QB that will step up? Just saying.
Hold on. Start. Let's start. What do you mean? We have a. What you mean?
I think it was a whole. If Tyreek Hill isn't around, I think he was saying. So I think that's what he's talking about. If Tyreek isn't around, or Tua isn't around, kind of like how they would fare without each other, if that makes sense. But kind of respond just to clear things up. Shout out to Hannah Montana. Will get you. Shout out to Robert says if Tyreek doesn't have Tua, he doesn't get 200 yards. I would assume that means 2,000.
TV. See what I'm saying? That's my point exactly. If Tua's out, Tyreek Hill doesn't get 2,000 yards.
To be fair, he got, what did he have like last year? Was it 1,600?
Yeah, but it was when Tua missed 4 games. 4.5. Tua missed 4.5 games.
Yeah. Moya says, what's up, everybody? And then we got the math stuff. Jason, who played a full game and couldn't even manage 1 tackle in the game with 1 assist, give you a hint, he's a first round pick. Right, do you know what? Let's dive into the defense right now because I can't do this for thing. The Dolphins have a genuine issue in terms of generating pressure from I would say most of their offensive line. So defensive line. I think Christian Wilkins finished the game with 2 sacks, Zach Sealer with 1 sack, Bradley Chubb with 1 sack. And as you said, Jalen Phillips also had 1 assist. The Dolphins, like I said, they just don't get pressure home, and it's a genuine worry. But I can have the conversation. I just don't believe that Jalen Phillips is a bust because he didn't get a sack yesterday after missing the last 2 games with an injury. Like, you can go through a bunch of defensive ends who aren't getting sacks right now, but I can go grab PFF and look at pressures and stuff like that. The Dolphins defense, for whatever reason, does a really good job of holding teams out of the end zone and stuff like that without generating pressure. It's weird. It's really weird. But I also think part of it is also the fact that, they generate pressure, they don't finish with sacks. But I do think part of it is because they do generate pressure. And what was interesting before I pass over to Charlie was that former Miami Dolphin and Ndamukong Suh was on Sky Sports yesterday. He was in London, and he was saying how it was the Ravens defense, even though they weren't getting sacks on Ryan Tannehill, they've done a really good job of keeping him off kilter, keeping him off center. And Sue was saying when he was playing any quarterback, he wanted to, even if he wasn't getting sacks, just touch him over and over again. Just touch him. That's it. Even after the throw is gone, just touch him to let you know I'm coming. So kind of that lead or speed up their process. So yeah, like obviously it's well known in the GTD chat that Jason Keck isn't a Jalen Phillips fan or doesn't believe he's in his potential. completely entitled to that opinion. But like I said,
and to be fair, we're not Jalen Phillips stands either. But at the same time, I think I think the jury's still out on Jalen Phillips, but I think it's more swayed towards he's all right. I don't think he's more swayed towards he's a bust. You know what I'm saying? If someone had to say, is he good or not, was the question. I think the answer is more so that he's good than he's not. You know what I'm saying? So I'm all right with Jason. Bro, I'm all right with Jalen Phillips. I got other problems with other people. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Phillips is not one of my problems.
Yeah, Jalen Phillips played 30 snaps yesterday. Like, I'm not having.
I ain't gonna lie. I got a problem. I got a problem with Vic Fangio. How about that?
Oh yeah. But it's really interesting because I look back at the game and go, the Dolphins gave up 21 points. 14 of them came in the first half, and the other 7 or 6 on the pick 6.
Was
the Dolphins shot.
It was a pick. No. It was a pick 6. You said 21 in the first half.
No, I said 14 in the first half, and then But the Dolphins defense didn't give up a single point after the first quarter, which I was like, that's good. Like, that's what I want to see.
Hold on. I'm confused. The Dolphins defense didn't give up a point after the first quarter?
Yeah. It was 14-0 in the first quarter.
Oh, okay. All right. I get what you're saying. I'm here. I made it, fellas. I was late, just like the Dolphins were late arriving to the game. I was late arriving to the podcast.
It's that you don't understand math. You didn't get the math. So that's what it is. When it comes to numbers, and it's fine. You didn't get the math. But yeah, like, you look at a Dolphins defense that doesn't allow a point in 3 quarters. To me, that's quite impressive. But like I said, the issue is that they don't generate sacks and they don't generate turnovers. And at some point, you need to do both of those. But if they're only giving up 14 points a game, is that the end of the world? What do you think? And let us know in the chat as well.
Well, Lee asked me, is it more of a personal issue or more of a personal issue than a Fangio issue? And I want, is that question directed with, does that involve Jalen Phillips or is it just me and Fangio? Because I don't think Jalen Phillips is underperforming because of Fangio. Or if you're asking me, how do I feel about Fangio personally? I don't have no problem with him personally. I just think the defense looks terrible. You know what I'm saying? He's the DC, so that's all I got. So, bro, we have to figure out what we're gonna do with this defense, bro. Because this defense is not gonna win us the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? The Super Bowl is gonna bet the over in the Super Bowl if the Dolphins make it. When the Dolphins make it, because the defense is not gonna deliver. They're gonna do what they keep doing, bro. Remember, once upon a time, I said I don't see how a team's gonna beat this Dolphins team. I don't see how we're gonna lose. I see how we're gonna lose now, bro. Someone's gonna put up 35 on us, and we're gonna put up 34, and we're gonna lose.
But I'm not disagreeing with you, but like I said, they gave up 20 points against the okay. So I saw this whole people looking at how they laughed at the Dolphins when they beat the Broncos and beat the Giants and say, well, they're bad teams. But like the Chiefs only put up 20 against the Broncos, and the Bills only put up 14 against the Giants. But the Chiefs only allowed 9 points against the Broncos, and the Bills allowed 9 points against the Giants. So I'm like, that's what I want to see. Pardon?
That's football math.
Yeah, and that's what I want to see from the Dolphins. Like, when you play these bad teams, don't allow touchdowns. Like, if you give up a field goal, it is what it is, but don't allow touchdowns. But again, like, I haven't watched the game back yet, but I'm like, after the first quarter, we shut out the Panthers, and I don't remember them even getting that close. So I was like, it's a problem, but I don't think it's awful. Shout out to Scotty Joe 22, I believe a first-time commenter.
What up?
Says offense is stellar, defense is average because we weak at linebacker and 1 CB. That's one of those things. Like, I believe the Panthers just picked on Eli Apple all game. Like, they just picked on Eli Apple.
We played 6 weeks. Can you remember a week with where you watch the defense and be like, "Damn, this defense looks good right now"? Can you remember that? Because every game I feel like there's been something where it's like, yo, this is not good from the defense. Like, and it's not just like a little, oh, that was a bad play. You know what I'm saying? Nah, this is like, it was every game has been, what's up with the defense? Yes, we only gave up so many points here and there's so many points there, but it still looks like this does not look like a playoff defense, not let alone a championship defense. This doesn't even look like a playoff defense.
I think there's a major tackling issue. Like, I'm like, dude, can you guys tackle? It's embarrassing how many bad tackle angles the Dolphins take. But I don't think it's as simple as saying it's a sack and interception issue. But like, I look back on games and like, I'm not. The defense doesn't worry me, but I guess also because we played some really bad offenses and we kind of just like outscore teams. Like, again, a real test will be this Eagles team on Sunday. Like, that's going to be a test against the defense. I'm underwhelmed with this Fangio defense, but again, like Scotty says about, weak at linebacker and one cornerback and it's average, and Lee says, we lacking personnel for Fangio scheme in his opinion. IMAX says, Charlie, I think it's both Fangio and a personnel issue. Fangio doesn't have the players he wants to truly make the defense work, which means he has to adjust his scheme to fit players he does have. Yeah, okay, no what? Cut a long story short, I am not impressed, but I'm not concerned yet.
Right. So he said personnel. I said personal. My bad.
Yeah.
So
Dude,
I don't think
it's an English problem as well.
Ease up, Holmes. So I don't think it's a personnel issue because you have the personnel to be. We had a hybrid offense, a hybrid defense, a multi defense where we were successful in it. So you had the players to move around, to do different things with. Like, there's nobody on this team that I'm concerned about. Well, bro, all of these boys got to get paid one day too. That's how good they are, and that's how good they're supposed to be. So you have the personnel. They should just be performing though. You know what I'm saying? So there's a reason why it's not working. I don't know the reason why it's not working because I would have said it on the podcast, but I don't know if it's Fangio. I don't know if it's the players not liking the scheme. I don't think it's the players not being good enough and not fitting the scheme, because I think the players are good enough to fit multiple schemes in a nutshell. You want to go to bonus time, Kadeem?
Very, very quickly. No, I'll ask you in bonus time. So yeah, cool.
And I appreciate everybody rocking with us, man. The math ain't mathing, boy. Like, I'm gonna leave the math to, can't say Kadeem. Kadeem be setting us up with the math too. So listen, hey, easy money pick of the week hit again. The boys on the road, man. We get into this money. Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive, test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Alrighty.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time.
So I want to get through all the comments because we appreciate everyone who commented and the ones we haven't read. So Lee Connolly says maybe not a bust, but need to live up to the hype at some point. Just about Jalen Phillips. Jason Keck said sack. He didn't get a tackle. Robert said, this has confused me for a while now. Why would you invest in a QB picking for his skills and not provide him with the tools to perform? The team is led by QB. He's not the only player on the pitch. Rob said Phillips played less than half of the team's or the defensive team snaps. Robert Ashton says, why would you give a leader no chance to succeed and criticize when he doesn't succeed? IMAX had no issue with Jalen Phillips. Robert Ashton says, D as a whole may be getting pressure, but not enough and not enough sacks. Kenneth said that aside he didn't get a sack. We've gone through Lee's comment. Rob says, I've got a problem with players completing tackles, but that's an issue that's lasted a few seasons. Jason Keck says a first round pick that can't come up with a tackle. I have a problem with that. Raise your bars. Robert Ashton said losing 35-34 will be same old Dolphins. Jason Keck said the Buffalo game was a perfect example of that. Charlie is right. Robert says, Kadeem, that's a circular argument. You play a bad team and they make them look woeful. We've gone through IMAX. Robert says defense is not good, and we'll find out how bad next week. Lee says Eagle D-line will squish our pass rush, no problem. Scotty Joe says you make a valid point. Bills imposed their will on our defense. Robert Ashton says it's a scheme plan issue. Defense doesn't seem to be designed to stop teams that just seem to keep score down. Lee says Apple. Robert says Apple, and then Scotty Joe says 20. Scotty Joe says fins up. Charlie, according to PFF, the Dolphins have tied first. So Dolphins have the tied first overall team grade. Offense first. Special teams 31st. Where do you think the defense ranks according to PFF?
20th.
Higher.
That's all I got. I can't give them no higher than that.
5th. PFF has the Dolphins defense ranked 5th overall.
All right. So overall, you said, I was just about to get into that because you know what people do, and we're guilty of this as well in the Dolphins community. When the Dolphins were, I want to say, like 5th in points against, no, like 2nd. It was in 2021, I think we were like in the top 5 in points against in the NFL. And what we used to do as fans was like, oh, the Dolphins got a top 5 defense. Technically, we were only top 5 in points against. You know what I'm saying? But you could still be like 15th in yards, in rushing yards, and 15th against the pass. You know what I'm saying? So for you to say overall, according to PFF, the Dolphins have the 5th best defense. I'm like, according to what metric? Like on paper with the players, caliber of players, or like statistically, how does that work? Because now I have to go to NFL.com and find out where we rank in passing, defensive passing. You know what I'm saying? Like this is wild to me.
Yeah, I just find it interesting because, and again, so Jason Keck thought was 22. Rob says special team seems harsh. We've only punted the ball 14 times this year. And then Jason Keck says 5th question mark, and then 25th is more like it. I just find it interesting because if I said, where do you think PFF has the Dolphins offense? I think everyone would say 1st and that they deserve to be 1st. If I had said, where do you think the Dolphins defense is, and told you it was 5th, people would have said, well, that's wrong. Why PFF? It's one of those things where what we're watching shows the Dolphins offense being the best offense in the league. What we believe we're seeing, the Dolphins defense isn't the 5th best defense in the league. Casual Dolphins said the defense gave up 20 points the last 2 games. And it's like, that's why that's why I think it's interesting, because he is right. We gave up 16 points overall to the Giants, but 6 was the defense. And the Panthers scored 21 points, but that's 14 to the defense. So for the past 2 weeks, we've given up 20 points. Which if you say, hey, the defense gives up 20 points in 2 weeks, we'll go, hey, that's great. Robert Ashton says, Charlie's, that's a form of math. Stay away, go with your gut. Lee Connolly says, big scheme change changes the optics. And Jason Keck says to an 0-5 team. Again,
so just the stats on NFL.com, the Miami Dolphins rank like 22nd in against the rush and 25th against the pass. I don't know how you get 5th overall out of that. You know what I'm saying? Like now, this is just the numbers. Like they have given up the 21st worst team against the rush, and then the 25th most passing yards, I guess. You know what I'm saying? In the league. I don't know how that correlates. I don't know how that equals 5th best overall. I'm not sure how that works.
Neither do I. And I'm having a quick look on PFF. it's one of those things where, yeah, we'll figure it out over the next few weeks, or maybe that's something we delve into in Wednesday's episode. I definitely wanted to give a lot of love to Liam Eichenberg, and friend of the podcast, Austin Jackson. Liam Eichenberg didn't give up a single pressure or sack on Sunday. I don't think friend of the podcast, Austin Jackson, did. Like, people are giving so much love to friend of the podcast, Austin Jackson. Like, it's great to see. And I think, given how bad Liam Eichenberg was against the Bills, I was pleased to see him, step up against the Panthers. Tua, gave him special praise as well. So, no offense, kind of hope we get Connor Williams back on Sunday against the Eagles. I know we have to go soon, so maybe offensive line is something we talk about more in depth on Wednesday. I know you also have a lot of love for Kendall Arm as well.
Yeah, man. Y'all check out the episode. Eichenberg bounced back. He's not playing in his natural position. He had a bounce back game. I love Kendall Lam, and friend of the podcast, Austin Jackson, is a dude. Like, we got the Golden State Warriors offense of football. Tua threw that bomb, and there's a clip of Austin Jackson not even looking back at the play. He just daps up Tua, like almost when Curry will hit the three, and then everybody else just run down the court and not even look. So shout out to them boys. Hold the line. Dun, 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 dun. Love isn't always on time.
I don't know what that song it is, but we will see you. What's wrong?
Dog doesn't know Hold the Line. That's crazy. I can't believe you don't know that song.
It's cool. Very, very quickly with comments. Rob says PFF must just based on individual grades. Lee says Liam was vastly improved. Good to see. Jason Keck says great job, Eichenberg and AJ. Keep it up. Robert Ashton says yes, Liam did step up. Fair play to him. He did the job. Rob says it's the usual schedule for the podcast: Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and yes, it is. If that changes, we will update everyone on social media. But Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Lee says classic, and Hannah says he does know it. What? Hannah, tell me in a sec. IMAX says another great show, fellas. Jason Keck says Africa. As in Toto, Africa.
Yeah, Toto did that song, bro, and Toto did Africa.
Okay, I know Africa. That's the only. I don't know Toto. Listen,
see, hey, math ain't my thing, and music is not Kadeem's thing. Neither is movies.
Hannah, in the comments, music is my thing. Wednesday.
Music ain't your thing. Movies ain't your thing either.
Wednesday's episode, we're going to get through all of this. We're going to get through the offensive line, how good is this defense, music, movies, everything. But guys, we will see you on the next one. Thank you for showing us love tonight. See you on Wednesday, hopefully, and Victory Monday, baby. Peace.